I'm surprised I don't make this deck quicker because I love sea men. Aiden, and this is the VG Punk channel. Hey, it's been a while since y'all seen my face, so I'm trying something new by having a face cam alongside the deck profile, see what it's like so it feel more personal, so instead of just me talking to y'all, you know? I'm still getting used to this setup, so maybe sometime I'm gonna forget to look at y'all, or maybe I'm getting like a little too close and I look like a ghost. Oh my god. 7 days. But this is what you guys are here for. It is the new addition to the Maelstrom deck with the addition of one of Maelstrom forms, the Gloria Maelstrom. Back in its OG day, even before V format, Gloria Maelstrom, I think it was pretty powerful, but due to circumstances, especially with was it Overlord? No, it wasn't. It wasn't like top tier, I believe, but it could still handle the meta, especially now. Glory Maelstrom, it's not the worst. It could handle the top tier deck like Levidress, Raziel, and Odium. It could handle those decks, but of course it doesn't have as much quality support as those decks, so it's gonna fall a little behind. But if those three decks that I mentioned is like S tier, this is definitely in the A tier. Like, you can comfortably bring this deck to a tournament like a BCS and do fine with it. And it's actually, I think this is what I'm gonna go with for my BCS. I say that with Levidress, but Levidress kind of like hate me right now, so I'm not bringing Levidress to the BCS in Pasadena. If you're going there, definitely let me know. But that's enough of me rambling. Let's get into this deck profile. Now, of course, like every deck profile in Standard, we're starting with the ride line. And instead of the original Maelstrom in the ride line, this one is gonna be the new Glory Maelstrom. But we're still using the same grade 1 and grade 2. The grade 0 doesn't matter, so it can be whatever you want. I just happen to have a holo of this guy, and the normal starter for Aquaforce, I don't have a holo of it, so and then that's the grade 0, and then grade 1 is Tier Knight Theo. He's just there to get you your Blue Storm Armada card, and then Algos, and then Algos will be your grade 2. Funny thing, I found out I have a pack of sleeve of the V version of Algos, so that's what this deck is gonna use. And yay for theming. The grade 1 search for the Armada, the grade 2 allow you to search top 7 for an Aquaforce card or a Tier Knight. Oh, Tier Knight for a Tier Dragon. The Tier Dragon is probably gonna be a copy of Gloria Maelstrom or Maelstrom itself. And I have one more Tier Dragon that I'm using in the deck, so it can search that too. But most of the time you're gonna hit like an Aquaforce card because a majority of this deck is Aquaforce. And then lastly is the new addition is Gloria Maelstrom. He's gonna pump up your entire front row, and Aquaforce is great at switching the back row with the front row, so you're gonna get a lot of attack with a lot of power. You don't get boost, so don't put anything with boost in this deck. You get 1 boost with like a bunch of attack. 4 of your rear guard is gonna be like attackers, and you have that 1 spot that you can boost with if you want to. You can actually do this deck with like no boosting at all, but that's a different build that's a little too complicated for my smooth brain. The first effect, it gives 5k to the front row for each Blue Storm Armada. Most of the time, the opponent will be dead at around like 1 or 2 2 or 3 Blue Storm Armada card. So that's like 10k or 15k to the front row, which is pretty good. And that is not include Persona Ride. And then the second effect is when your Blue Storm, the original Maelstrom, attack, it can give it 5k, and then if it's the 4th or more attack, you can draw a card and pop an opponent rear guard, which is pretty good. You don't have to do the draw a card and popping the effect right away. Say you somehow able to restand Maelstrom. Hey, that 5k stays, so your Maelstrom could hit for like 33k just by itself, with the all the power boosts from Glory Maelstrom itself. And then one of the most important effect that the Glory Maelstrom have is that it can copy the act ability of the original Maelstrom, which the act ability let you call out Tear Dragon or what are those called, Aqua Force unit from the soul. And most of the time you probably gonna have one of those two things. Most of the time it's gonna be the original Maelstrom itself, and Glory Maelstrom can copy that effect when Maelstrom, the OG Maelstrom, is in the soul or on the rearguard circle, which is great. And that effect allowed whatever it called out to have a restanding effect. So that's how you can really pump up the original Maelstrom attack. Alright, and then for the main deck, we are gonna run 3 more copies of the Glory Maelstrom. That's just to give you more copies for Persona Ride, because a Persona Ride in this deck is really powerful. And then we're gonna play a whole playset of the original Glory Maelstrom, because it is what the deck based around. It is a very powerful attacker, even though technically he's a vanilla 13k. He is the piece needed for Glory Maelstrom to be as powerful as it is. And then here's the other Tear Dragon that I'm playing. I'm playing 1 Inlet Pulse. Its attack, you don't have to use Inlet Pulse. You can just cut Inlet Pulse completely and play another grade 2 or grade 1, as you're gonna see as we continue on. But personally, I love playing one-offs of stuff, and this deck kind of allows me to do that with all its searching, and the next card that you're gonna see allow me to revive stuff. Inlet Pulse is just a good draw card. Alright, the main order of the deck is Judgment Maelstrom, which is a set order, rare thing for a Storkea decks to have. It only works if you have Maelstrom in your Vanguard circle, either the OG or the Glory Maelstrom. In our case, it's the Glory Maelstrom. When you play this, you get 2 effects. The first one is that you get to choose up to 1 unit with Aqua Force in its clan or a Tear Dragon from your drop and call it. That's why you're not afraid to discard your Inlet Pulse, your original Maelstrom into the drop zone for ride up and all that stuff. You could just do that and then revive it with Judgment Maelstrom. The other effect is when you have it only work if you already have a Judgment Maelstrom already played, because whatever you revive back, it'll give 5k to that thing when you have 1 or more Judgment Maelstrom already played, and it's incremental. So like if you have 1 other Judgment Maelstrom, you get 5k, you get 2, it's 10k, so on and so forth. Oh, I forgot. The reason why Judgment Maelstrom is so good with Glory Maelstrom is that Glory Maelstrom, when a unit with Maelstrom attack, you can rest 2 of these Judgment Maelstrom to give whatever the Maelstrom that's attacking, whether it's the OG or even the Vanguard Glory Maelstrom, you can give it, can't use Sentinel to guard against this attack. They can still use Elementaria Sanctitude, but just not regular PGs. Moving on to the grade 2. Now, most people, you will see them play a full playset of this, but because I ran 4 of Judgment Maelstrom, I can get away with running 3. And that's 3 of the Tier Knight. Oh my god, what's that name? Alacrines? Alacrines. Greek and Roman name is so difficult for me sometimes when it's not the usual name. Alacrines. This Tier Knights, it count as an Aqua Force if your Vanguard is an Aqua Force, which it is, so it's an Aqua Force card. When this unit is placed, if you have a Vanguard with only Aqua Force in its clan, look at the top 7, choose a copy of Maelstrom, whether it's Glory Maelstrom or the OG Maelstrom, or you can search for a Blue Storm Armada, which is the Judgment Maelstrom set order. Duh. And then you can put it in your hand. If you do put it in your hand, you will put a card from your hand to soul. Most of the time it's gonna be the original Maelstrom that you put into soul, so you could just call it out later on. And then the other effect is at the end of the battle that this unit attack, if you have Maelstrom in your Vanguard circle, that's a grade 3. Counterblast 1, switch this card with another card on your rear guard. So that's how you do the switcheroo thing. Now it doesn't gain power, but Glory Maelstrom give the front row power already, so most of the time it's gonna be 15k or higher. So you don't gotta worry about having to give it some kind of boost. You can if you want to. Now I play 2 of the Cycler, the energy or counterblast Cycler. It doesn't come up often because most of my energy go towards a great one that's gonna come up, but it's there, it's nice to have, and it fit the aesthetic. I don't recommend the other Cycler, the Soul Blast Cycler or the upcoming Cycler that give you a 10k shield in your hand, because those Cycler do use the soul, and sometimes soul can be like a pretty rough resource for this deck. Alright, moving forward, it's a bunch of one-off, and like I say, I love one-off. They all work pretty well for me, but if you see one that worked better for you, definitely play more of that. And the ones of are these guys. Tidal Assault, just multi-attack by himself, and he could possibly pump up the Vanguard attack too, just to make it dangerous, because your Vanguard could prevent a Sentinel from coming out. So if you know they already used their elemental Sanctitude, you can just keep pumping the Vanguard and hit pretty hard. But, you know, like I said earlier, soul is a problem, so don't just spam that effect willy-nilly unless you know you can recover the soul somehow. Inlet Pulse help with soul too, if need be. And then the next one is the promo. Flow Strike Brave Shooter. She is a little expensive because she is pretty good in my opinion for how many of the Blue Storm Armada set spell, which is the Judgment Maelstrom. We only got 1 set order for this deck so far. For every one of those order in your order zone, she get 5k. So she is inherently big by herself, but Glory Maelstrom make her bigger. And if you put her in the back row, she can move herself to the front row, assuming you attack with something in your front row already. A rear guard in the front row. Put her on one of your side column instead of like the middle column.
Caterpillar Rave.
The next one is Mare Colossum Dragon. Not many people know that this card even exists. If you discard him during your turn, you can Soul Blast 2. You can Soul Blast 2 and call him to the rear. He can be count as another, like if you have to discard for a ride up, you can discard him and call him back, and then hey, aggro-ish. And then if you have Judgment Maelstrom in your order zone, he is a 15k attacker / 15k shield, and he can intercept from the back row. It's pretty good. Like, I find that the offensive power of this deck is pretty consistent and pretty strong, thanks to Glory Maelstrom and the Tier Knight that I showed earlier that I played 3 of, El Glencris. Thanks to literally just those 2 cards and having the original Maelstrom, those 3 cards is already your strong offensive card. So I'm trying to mitigate to find out card that's both powerful and more importantly defensive to play with this deck, you know? And speaking of defensive, the Regulus piece I choose for this deck is Protection Twin Cast. Now, I would have made this video much quicker, probably like on release, but I thought I didn't have Twin Cast, but apparently I do. So I put Twin Cast in this deck. Not absolutely necessary. I got away with it by playing Angel Ladder before because, you know, I don't it's a board based deck, so I don't want people to touch my board, but Twin Cast is fine. It's another defensive that count as technically 2 defensive card in the deck. So you can get away with playing Angel Ladder, the Regalius piece that let you Persona Ride, that's fine too. Like the Regulus piece, they're very close in power, but like Twin Cast is like above all of them, because like I say, the deck have great offensive power. It's just the defense that you gotta worry about. And Twin Cast provide that. If not, you can use the Evergreen Shield Blitz Order. That's fine too. But do be careful. It is a quick Blitz Order. So if you use, say, Elementaria Sanctitude already, you won't be able to use the Blitz Order. Just be careful then. 3 of the normal PG and 1 Elementaria Sanctitude. That's typical for all of the standard decks so far. If you don't have Sanctitude, it's not a big deal. Just play 4 of the normal PG. Now, those are the great ones. We're going to the great one section of the video for Dancing Cutlass. Now, strangely enough, this is a Grand Blue card, yet it worked in an Aqua Force deck. Here we are, you know? This card doesn't work in, say, Night Rose, the Grand Blue deck that they take from Premium and put it in Standard. Doesn't work, but alright, whatever. This card is another cycler that Storkea have, where if it's discarded from your hand during your ride phase or during your main phase, you can Energy Blast 3 and draw a card. Storkea is very like resource management-esque kind of deck, so these stuff happen all the time in Storkea. We have one more cycler than the other nation. Yeah, that's the effect we care about. The Energy Blast 3 and then draw 1. Oh, it also does count. You have to have no G-Zone to play this deck. To play this card. Ugh. To play this card. So that's why the 2 effect of Dancing Cutlass activate. Like, become the effect for Dancing Cutlass. For its second effect, you can bind 2 copy of Dancing Cutlass in order to countercharge 1. Now, countercharging, we do counterblast a lot, but not so much that you have to bind all 4 copy of Dancing Cutlass. Use it sparingly, but do be careful, you know? Luckily, the Vanguard doesn't really require that much counterblasting. The next great one that we play is Wheel Assault. This is a good card. On boost, this is the only card in the deck that care about boosting. At the end of the battle that it boosts, if you have a Vanguard with Maelstrom in its name, Soul Blast 1, choose 2 of your rear guard and swap them. This is the other swapper. Most lists that you're gonna see play 4 of these guys. The reason why I can get away with 3 is because I play 4 of the Judgment Maelstrom, so you can bring this guy back if need be, but he's a back row booster. Unlikely for the opponent to be able to attack into it. Of course, they can always pop it and everything with Gandiva and all them stuff in the way, but you know, it doesn't happen often enough where like you're scared, you're afraid that the opponent will be able to remove it easily. They're gonna have to go out of their way to remove it, especially with all the other good stuff that's also on your field. I think this is the least of their worry, but I could be wrong. This is my little flair to the deck, is 2 of the Elusive Wing Farmia. I don't even know what the name is. This rainbow wing looking dragon. I do discard a lot from Maelstrom effect and then from ride lines and all that stuff. So sometimes it's nice to like get one thing back. It does cost 3 energy though, so be careful. It does get in the way of Dancing Cutlass. If you have to choose, Dancing Cutlass is more important, whereas this guy, it could be later down in the game where you have like a bunch of energy and you're out of Dancing Cutlass and out of the cycler or something. You can use him. I don't even know if it's a him, because your Vanguard also discard. Your Vanguard gain the effect to discard to call something, and you can Energy Blast to get that discard thing back, you know? And finally, the triggers are 8 crits. That's pretty simple. If you have the effect crit, use the effect crits. but my effect crits is in other decks. And then I go with the front trigger, because by the time that my Vanguard attack, I like having 2 rear guards in the front row that's still standing, preferably one of them being the OG Maelstrom. So I play front to get the maximum power pumped out of my attackers. Draw trigger is fine, but like I say, I need some kind of... The offensive power of the deck is really good, so I'm more focusing on how to get that defensive power up. And then the OT, you can play other OT if you want. I just have Blessed Flavor, so Blessed Flavor will be what we use. The OT is not that important. You're not gonna hit the OT that often. Like, offensively, you're not gonna hit the OT that often. And then we have 4 heal, and of course 2 of the heal are one of the... If the opponent have extra crit via some other effect, it get superpower shield. And then the other one, if the opponent unit attacked already this turn, it gets superpower shield. And that's it for my Glory Maelstrom deck profile. Oh my god, it has been 5 ever since I did a deck profile, and I forgot everything. Personally, I like it. The deck is what I would say, it have a really high ceiling, and the floor, like, you gotta be pretty bad at the game in order to not hit at least 5 attack with this deck. Right now, I feel like single game I play with it, I keep getting better and better at it. Even just like goldfishing the deck by myself, like after every single goldfish, I get better at it. So like, you can see the improvement you make as you continue to practice with this deck. And the reward's pretty good. Like I say, it can stand up to the top 3 decks right now. And it's pretty good against other not top tier deck. All in all, I don't think you will be disappointed if you decided to play with Glory Maelstrom. The only thing you probably get disappointed is that the original Maelstrom is going up in price. So I say, if you decided to play him, either wait until the hype is over or get him now. But yeah, that is it for this video. Comment what tech that I use that you think you would play more of. Do be careful playing more of Inlet Pulse, because it's technically a vanilla on the field for you. Are you think you're gonna play more of the promo, the Tidal Assault, or maybe you saw that I used that one dragon, the dragon that Energy Blast 2, and you like that tech? Personally, it's been working out for me because I always find that I'm 5k too short in my shield, and that thing gained 5k shield, so yay! That's it for the video. I hope you enjoy it. Comment below what you like the video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and I will see you soon, my love.